Okay, here we are again this week with another Wholehearted Chat with one of our authors from the Wholehearted Wonder Women 50 Plus book. And today our guest is Rivka. Welcome, Rivka.
Hi, Lulu. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're a part of our book. And, I was rereading your chapter today, chapter 18, The Power of Saying No, How to Gracefully Get What You Want. And I know myself, it's been a challenge being clear and strong in your no. And it was funny because I only read your chapter again like an hour ago. And this morning I woke up with this other part of myself that wanted to be very clear about saying no. And I posted on Facebook something about that. So I was like, oh, she's already here.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that.
So tell us just a little bit about your chapter, and I know you touch on the good girl, which of course is part of my story as well. So just to share a little bit about your chapter.
Well, I think the idea of the chapter came because of we are talking about this whole women 50 plus. And so what are the things that are different when I got into my 50s, and I'm 57 right now. And so it was a big deal for me to get that 5. And if I look back now, it is also a huge blessing because a lot of things changed, and the power of saying no is one of them. It is definitely a total different feeling inside of me that I can say no, that I can say, but also say no to myself, say no to all the chatter in my head, um, becoming more in tune with who I really am and really connecting to that power inside. And I think that's all part of the power of saying no. Like you cannot connect with yourself if you're still out there trying to please everybody and also listen to all the little voices in your head. There is no room for connecting to who you really are. So that was one of the reasons why I thought, if I'm thinking about what really changed in my life above 50, I think that was one of the biggest things, like the connecting with myself by saying no. Not
Mhm.
only, and again, no in general, not really like trying to please other people, but also like really thinking, what is it deep inside of me that wants to come out? And I'm going to allow it. I'm going to say no to all the other stuff and allow my who I am to unfold. So that's where it came from, and that's how the story. Um, and of course, it was a big chunk in my life. But I mean, the story. I wanted to write that story because it was, I think, one of the biggest changes above 50.
Mhm. Yeah, and as we talk about this aging process, that the things that we did in our 20s, 30s, and 40s, it's actually time for those to expire. So this part of being a people pleaser or having a cast of thousands in our thought process, it's time. I'm very clear. It's time, to move on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know you talk about, our values as well in your tool. So, just share with the viewers or the people that are watching the replay just a little bit about values and how important it is to be so clear and aligned to our own values.
Yeah, I think that it was a big one for me because I was, if you would have seen me a couple of years ago, I wasn't in such a good place in my life. And I couldn't figure it out because at the end, I had most of what people would think the outside world looked like really perfect. I lived in a beautiful home. I had beautiful family. I moved from Belgium to the United States. Like it could, if you would have looked at it from the really just outside world, you would think it was a fairy tale,
Mhm.
and it wasn't. And when I talk about it in the chapter, I spoke to one of my friends, really dear friend of mine and mentor, because she was very crucial in where I am today. And she says, like, I wasn't feeling good. And so she told me, every time you do something that goes against your values, you will feel that really depressing feeling inside of you. You will get anxiety, you will get depressed. There will be all kind of negative feelings because you're doing stuff that goes against your values. What are your values? And I'm like, what do you mean? What are my values? Like, I want to be a good person. I want to be an honest person. And you all the things that you think you have to be, those are my values. The values were not my values. It was the values that I thought that everybody else wanted me to have. So it's the same thing. Like, because of you live somebody else's life, you live somebody else's values, because otherwise if you say no to somebody, it's like this circle and you don't get out of it. So the first thing I needed to do was to figure out, what are my values? And it took me a really long time. So the first time I get on back to her and I said, okay, I got my values and my list and my book, and she gave me a little booklet and was working on it. These are my values. And she looks at it like, really? That's total BS. she said, like, and I'm like, what? I worked on this. These are my values. And she said, no, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. This is not who you are. And I'm forever grateful, because she was so right. And I went back and I did the exercises again. And, you find online all kind of values, and I needed to, and then finally, one of my true values is I want to live gracefully. And that's why in the title, it is like, it says how to gracefully get what you want. And that is one of my, I want to live a graceful life. And when I look at people around me, my big mentors that I never met, but that I would love to, they're all graceful and they stand in life gracefully. And I think that's really one of my, and I get emotional when I talk about that, because that is really, that when I say that, that connects to my soul. That's like the being graceful. And then I did a whole research. I looked up the word and all the definitions, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is me. And so that's how I came to we're not gonna go, but being graceful was one of them. And I think when you connect to who you, like your real value, and nobody would think about being graceful as a value, or not, I don't hear it that often, but once you really connect with those values that are really you will feel it in your heart, that it is no bullshit anymore. It's like, it connects you. It's you.
I want to comment that you said, if we'd seen you a couple of years ago. So I just want to remind any of the viewers or our readers, that where you are today is not set in stone. And, each of us have traveled a journey ourselves to get where we are. And not arriving at a place is a destination of, we're still, working through the journey. So I love that the word graceful, and just the energy of that word. I feel it in myself. This year I've been using the word gentle and tender to talk to myself. Whenever I say something, oh, gentle, oh, tender, I remind myself, because inner critic, has been a taskmaster and, is often a kind of abusive. So when we're in our 50s, we want to embrace what qualities and values that we feel are really important, to us and for us. And it's about saying yes to ourselves. So I do have a couple of questions we're going to explore today. So I wanted you to share with our viewers something about your creative expression or your experience, because I do know that you have that the activities and things that you like to do. So share a little bit about that, please.
It's the same thing. Like I figured it out like 2 years ago. I'm keeping on saying 2 years ago, because that's when I really decided I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it up. This is it. I need to do the work. And I made a mind movie. And in that mind movie, I put everything in there that I could think of. I was going to be in a book. okay, I was going to paint, I was going to buy a lake house, I was going to do all kind of stuff. And the painting, I don't even know why that was in there. It was just like at a moment I was just channeling, and that was what I was going to do. I put it all in there. And I wanted to paint from when I was a little kid, but it never happened. And there's another story about it, like a limited belief that came on me. And then life happens, and you're so busy with what I did, pleasing everybody else and trying to figure out what they wanted. And so it's the same thing. Like once you get to your core, I got in touch again with that creativity, like something that wanted to come out. And I started painting, and very interesting, people liked my paintings. And it was so liberating, because I would have thought I was doing it like in my home and nobody would see it. And I didn't want to have anybody, because I was embarrassed. What are people going to think? I don't have any art schooling. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not even using brushes. I'm doing just what I like. And all those, like, I was like putting myself down and down and down. And then at a certain moment, I'm thinking, you know what? It doesn't matter. As long as I like it and I have fun and I love doing it, what the hell, what people think? And it just bursted out. And so now I just allow myself to do whatever I'm doing, and I don't have any judgment on it. I just enjoy it. And when people like it, fine. When they don't like it, it couldn't bother me. But I, of course, enjoy the fact that they like it. But I first had to go through that. I had to take those steps first.
And that's one of the beautiful reframing things as we get older. You know, when we were younger, when we painted, we didn't think, was this good? Was, you know, is it like anyone? We just did it because we had fun. So the reframing is coming back into that thought in ourselves. Do it for our own enjoyment. You know, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece on someone's wall or whatever. Do it for our own enjoyment. So, you know, that's part of the confidence, courage, and creativity that is the subtitle of this book, is, you know, embodying all those parts of ourselves so that it's nurturing us. So yeah, thanks for that. Could you share with us who's been your favorite teacher and why? And it doesn't, you know, from in any area of your life. Yeah.
Favorite teacher. It's a very interesting question. And I think that when I had a lot of teachers, and from a very young age, I had those people that I looked up to that were not like famous people. I never had the posters of pop stars or whatever, never, ever. But I did have people that I looked up to, a teacher that I really thought was an amazing person. But if I think about now, who are my teachers, my mentors, I would say my children. And so I think that they have I don't know, when I look at them, I am learning so much. And I think it has to do with the idea that they have part of me in them, but they do so much better. And I think that I am in awe for how they deal with things that I dealt with when I was in my 20s and 30s as a young mother or as a college student, and I feel like they do better than me. And they do sometimes things that I'm thinking, oh my God, that is so cool. I should learn from them. Like I should learn how to be less stressed out about something, or how to, like the way my oldest is with her kids. I'm just in awe. I'm like, wow, I wish I could have done that when I was her age. So I think if I learn from them, and I'm not afraid to say that I think they do better than me for sure. And the way they do things, it's an eye opener. Like, I'm like, wow, that's also a way, and it's a very good way. And I can do what you do, and I learn from them.
Beautiful. What an inspiration to have our children to teach us as well. Yeah, very beautiful. Thank you. What's the best compliment you've received?
Best compliment that I've received. That is one, it's a difficult one, but I would have never known a compliment if it wasn't for recently, because I would never have, if people would have given me a compliment, I would have said, that's normal, that's my job, because I'm a mother, because I'm working for you, or whatever. I would have never seen it as a compliment. But what I really like is, I'm going to give you an example from this morning. I'm going on the walk, and there is like this, I live in a community, and there's this little office in the front where you work for whatever reason. There's a woman working, and I went in and I said hi. And at the end, she says, I'm always so happy when you come, because you really lift up my mood. Like, you're so, when you come in, it's like the lights go on, and I'm so excited when you come in, because it lifts me up and you give me so much energy, and I really enjoy it when you come in. And I think that is the best compliment I can get, when I can add something to somebody's life but by just being me.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm doing something for you because I know that that's what you want me to do, but just for who I am. I think that's the biggest compliment.
What a beautiful compliment, you and receiving it today too, you know,
Yeah.
and you touched on that often women don't receive so well, like we can kind of like hear it and it kind of floats around us, but we don't let it land. So, I'd like to remind the viewers, listen to how people, express who you are to them. It's such a gift that it's as if they're giving you a gift and you need to take it in your hands and receive it. So let these beautiful compliments land. That's why I put this particular question in, is because women often forget to allow themselves to receive. So please allow yourself to receive so much more. The last question I have, what do you value most and why?
Wow. It's another big one. Oh my God. What do I value most? Um, I think I would have said it's the same thing. I think I changed a lot by getting older. And I'm not so sure that I changed a lot. I just think I allowed a lot of me to come out. Um, Things that were always there, but I just suppressed them. And what do I value the most? I think I value people that are real. And it is, I guess, because I wasn't real myself for a long, long time. And I'm not saying that I did that on purpose, because I always wanted to be real. And I was always the rebel, and I was always the one doing things that nobody did. Although inside, it felt to me that I was always pleasing everybody. So I wasn't true to myself, not real who I really was. So I think people that are real, that is what I value. I value people that have the guts to tell me what they don't like,
Mm-hmm.
and value me enough to take the time to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And also the people that I can say and don't take it personal. Like, let's say there's something I really don't want to do, and I can say it, and they just say, okay, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take it personal. They don't take it the wrong way. Like, people that can just allow me to be who I am, so that I can allow them who they are. And that gives like a very nice dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really appreciate your openness and your vulnerability in, talking about some of these topics are not really spoken about widely, and the more we make them open to people expressing their truth, etc., is how we share with each other and how we learn and we grow. I'm just going to mention what Rivka does. She's a women's empowerment coach and a clearing facilitator. She uses holistic tools and strategy and mindset hacks. And she's going to give you an offer that's how you can work with her, and she will drop that in our Facebook group. But just share with the readers and the viewers what that is today.
Well, as we all know, we are all going to make new resolutions when 2022 comes in. And the statistics for how good we do afterwards when we make those resolutions are not that great. So why is that? Because usually most of us are so stuck with limited beliefs, in our paradigms, how we are programmed. And it is not as much that we don't know what to do. Like, let's say we want to lose weight, we want to go more to the gym, we want to make more money, we want to have another job. It doesn't really matter what we do, but a lot of times we get somewhere and then we get stuck. So it's one of my biggest pleasures to help people go through that wall. So now is the time to learn how to do that, because if you are going to make your resolutions January 1st, you better know what you're doing. So I'm giving a workshop where I'm going to explain exactly how to follow through, how to get through all those limited beliefs. So that's what I would love to offer, because I think that could help a lot of people.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, the link is going to be, it's going to be December 1st, I think, if I don't, December 1st or 2nd. And so if you are, no matter what you are struggling with, you will get something out of it, I promise you.
What a beautiful offering. So you'll see that in the link. I also just want to remind you, in Rivka's story in chapter 18, she does give a resource which is about the power of saying no. So you might also want to check that out in your book or in your ebook and grab that as well. So I really want to say thank you from my heart to yours for being part of this project, and also for sharing with our viewers and our readers. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
The honor is totally mine. I'm very, very grateful that you crossed my path and that I'm part of the book. And it's like a huge, huge honor. So thank you. Thank you so much.